So, welcome to my first official vlog. I wanted to be my true, authentic self. I am a holistic therapist. I do lots of lovely healing, balancing treatments on my clients and on myself. But I just wanted you to know that not all is rosy in my world. I'm battling menopause or perimenopause at the moment, and today's a really shitty morning. Woke up, I've had a lovely couple of days. It's the school holidays, we've had friends visit, and we've done some lovely things with me mixing in a little bit of work as the work's come in. But I wonder if because of that my routine's been out a little bit, and so my protocols haven't quite been in place as they should have been. And so last night William said, my my tummy feels a bit off. I said, well, what do you mean? Do you think you might be sick? Do you need a poo? Can you enlarge on that? I don't know, not really. I was like, oh, that's not very helpful. But almost instantly, I can then feel my anxiety has now been triggered because my son can't be poorly. That worries me and sets me off, which again is unnecessary. And I know, I can tell, I feel myself sort of spiraling. In the end, so then I try and settle and ignore it, or tell myself to stop being an idiot, rationalise it, and then I start giving myself all these harsh words because I should know better, I should be able to deal with this. It's just exhausting. So then in the end he does do a bit of a runny poo, and he's like, oh, I feel better now, but that's too late for me to then bounce out of. I'm like, oh, maybe we've both eaten something, because now I think I might need a runny poo. And I woke up at 1:30, went to the loo, but whether that was because we've both eaten something, or whether that's because anxiety has just kicked in, and that's how anxiety hits me, is with a runny poo, I don't know. But it's just disheartening. And then because it's always in the middle of the night, and so then I lay there thinking, what if this happens when we're away with other people? Because in the holidays we're staying with some people as well, and spending a few days with them. Like, what if this happens then? How can I retreat or deal with this? What do I need to do? How can I? And then I just panic and worry, and again, it's just unfounded. It doesn't matter, and it will all be all right, I'm sure, but there's nothing worse. And so then today I've woken up with sort of this feeling of dread in the pit of my stomach that I can't shift. So I've applied my CBD balm. I think it's 30 milligrams, I can't remember, of CBD in this balm, and I massaged it. I was starting to get into really good habits, and then obviously, because then when you start to feel a bit better, you forget to do it, what I do. And so then it sort of creeps back, and then you're back to square one. So friggin' frustrating. So I'm back to that mood of just wanting to retreat, to make another cup of tea and stay indoors and sit with this sense of dread and apathy that I know won't get any better by doing that, but I can't motivate and see outside of that box. So I'm really pleased, actually. I'm at work today, I'm at the salon, I've got a really busy day, and Chris Evans, who I listen to and adore on Virgin Radio, give him a listen if you ever can. He always says that if you smile for long enough, a proper smile, your body will react to that and think that you're happy, and then you'll become happy. And it's so true. And so my clients, unless they happen to see this, I won't post it until later, I'll put the facade on of being a therapist, so they won't know what's going on underneath the surface, and then probably within an hour or two it will have lifted me. But I think what I also need to remember is that action mood follows action. And so if I'd have got up and gone for a fast walk or a jog or done something, probably that will have dusted away, it would have blown the cobwebs away of those feelings. But it's so fascinating that you just don't think about it. It's almost like, I think, if you have a headache, I've not been one to suffer with headaches, but if you have a headache, you know, drinking water will help, but somehow you just want to wallow in the headache and not reach for the glass of water. That's sort of how I feel. Like, I know the tools that could help me, but it's just beyond me to reach for them. So annoying. But interestingly, somehow just talking about this helps to lift the mood and the feeling. So yeah, I'm really pleased. Thank you guys for being there for me and allowing me to share my journey. Today will be a good day. This is where we need the mantras. And again, so I refer to Louise Hay, who is no longer with us, sadly, and was an amazing lady, and believed that the emotional feelings that we have correspond to something physical that we aren't in tune enough with to know is there. And so these feelings of dread are what I journaled on, and I did a post about before, and I need to I think I need to do more delving into that to shed that, because the CBD balm, all these other things that I'm using are just helping with the symptoms, but I need to get right down to that root cause and shed that. So yes, more work to be done. I also met the friend that stayed with her little one for a couple of days, was just wonderful, and said something that I've now forgotten the word of, illuminary space, liminary, I'll have to look it up, a liminary space, and it's basically feeling quite detached and you haven't got your foot in either world completely. So it's like we're leaving the world of motherhood, but actually we can't quite fully leave it yet because our children aren't quite that old enough to live without us. We're still very much needed, but we can't baby them. And I suppose they're in that same space as well, aren't they, where they're not babies but they're not quite adults yet, and we're still in that ground of how much do we give, how much do we step away, how much do we want to step away. I really dote on my son, and letting go of that upsets me. So I think I'm fighting with that need or want as well. And it's really frustrating because actually I've got this amazing list of things that I've jokingly called the empty nest syndrome bucket list. And there's some amazing things that as soon as he doesn't need me anymore, I can start playing and doing. And we play and do together. It's not like my life is on hold by any means. But there's things that I know he won't enjoy that I really will, and so they're things that I need to do on my own. So yeah, I'm really excited about doing them, but I'm still very sad that sort of grieving for this last chapter. I also think I'm due on my period. I've been feeling those nagging feelings, and interestingly, before perimenopause started, just before my period, I'd get like these couple of days of anxiety, and it was almost like I was coming down with a tummy bug, and then I'd get my period and it would all go. Fascinating. So maybe it's that, because that's why I'm emotional and a bit unnecessary. Yes, so thanks for listening. If you've listened as far, please do comment if any of this resonates with you. It's so nice to know that I'm not alone. It's the reason I set up this in the first place was because it felt lonely. Everybody's talking about perimenopause and menopause and joint pain and all these physical symptoms, but nobody's really delving into the emotional symptoms around it, or the emotions and that sort of attach themselves. And I think that's where I really want to specialise as a menopause therapist, is to use my tools to dig deep into those emotions, to release them, because then in theory we're free from the physical issues as well. Anyway, do subscribe, do comment, do like, because it makes me feel like I'm not talking to fresh air. And have a really good day. Thanks for listening, guys.